And they're on the road. Do you understand me? They're on the road at Stanford on the night that they present the banner to the fans, and they just came in and spoiled it.
I would say the Stanford-Texas game, though, that's been the headliner of the year, with Stanford, the reigning champs, going down to Texas, a gritty team. I loved watching them play. And I think that intensity that we were talking about with fans in the stands, Texas brought it. What'd you see that was really impressive from Texas's point of view, at least?
Them winning, number one.
Number one.
I thought the way they won down the stretch in that game, those three balls started falling for Texas, and they're on the road. Do you understand me? They're on the road at Stanford on the night that they present the banner to the fans, and they just came in and spoiled it. To have the fortitude to do that, forget about the tactical side of it and the X's and O's, and the three balls were nice. They get it. And that's what got them over the edge, in my estimation, the dribble drive and the kickouts and the knockdown threes. But when it's all said and done, you have to have the mental capacity and the toughness to go into Stanford on a night when they are rah-rahing their magnificent run last year to the national title. And they came in and just pulled the tablecloth off the table, and all the utensils and plates and salt and pepper shakers went flying away onto the floor. And not only that, they went from being ranked number 25 to being ranked number 12. Is that the biggest jump that we've seen in 1 week by a team? That's how impressive I think all the voters, including me, thought that they went in there and they showed improved. And I think that, you gain respect when you do stuff like that. And I think Vic Schaefer, like you said, his handprints, footprints, verbiage, mentality, all over that game. And no slight to Stanford. And sometimes when you do have all of, we're reminiscing about what happened in the postseason last year. Guess what? Texas was on that day. And it's hard to switch that if you're Stanford. And I understand. I just think it's hard to change the channel, Gabe.
Oh, yeah.
When you're being celebrated for the national championship from last season. And now guess what? You have 2 minutes to go through the layup line. And here you are with this huge challenge here at home with this hungry Texas team. They could not withstand the pressure that Texas applied on both sides of the ball down the stretch.
And it is, and I think it's really, really tough for Stanford. They had a really tough task, and I think they actually performed pretty well, all things considered, outside of their coverage on the high pick and roll. We have to talk about the two guards for Texas, Rori Harmon, Aliyah Matharu. Where's Aliyah Matharu from?
DMV
ballers. They play different. And man, she was so awesome. It's so confident, so ready to play. And they both, Harmon and Matharu, fed off that defense of energy. I don't think she hit a three before the fourth quarter. Actually, Texas as a whole did not hit a three before the fourth quarter, and she hit 4 of them. And it was all started with, she got a tip to start the fourth quarter. She got a tip deflection out of bounds. She got a steal. Then it just kept rolling downhill. And Harmon was awesome throughout the game. I cannot believe she's a freshman, because she came in there confident, pulling up from everywhere, giving you everything you want defensively. Every single second she was on the court, she owned the court, and she's playing against players who have won a national championship, who are in their 6th year, who are at home. I was extremely, extremely impressed by those two guards.
Yeah, and for as remarkable as those three balls falling, we didn't talk enough about the defense that Texas presented and how disruptive they were, especially right there, like you said, at the rim, and disallowing any easy offense or reads. And I just thought that they took away all of the sweet spots down the stretch that Stanford was trying to attack. They went on the other side and just exploited, I don't want to say overhelp, but sometimes, you have to guard up the line, but you also have to be ready and prepared for those threes to fall. And that's hard too, in game, when you've been playing a certain way and it's been successful. It's hard to say, well, now it's not successful. We need a plan B and C and D to get out here to contest these threes that are going up and in. And the adjustments, although they were being made, they weren't swift enough in terms of the execution of them. And that's why there was a loss there for Stanford.
Well, and four of 27 from three too. Like that's,
come on,
14% from three. You're not going to win. Unless you're not taking too many of them. Texas took 7. So Texas took 7 threes, Stanford took 27, and they made the same amount. That's a big reason why Stanford lost. We say missed threes are we kind of throw those out as like, oh, well, we just missed our threes. The shots keep falling. We'll get it back. But I think Texas did a lot to rush those threes, to put pressure on the pass so that the passes weren't in the shooter's pocket. And that just messes with your rhythm. I think, it really punched Stanford in the mouth, that pressure, either the full court pressure or even the half court. There's so much pressure and physicality that I think that's what got them off their game too. So, all the credit to Texas in this one. I'm super duper impressed. This team has undergone change, but it looks like the people that have been brought in may actually fit what Vic Schaefer's trying to do a little bit more. Do you see this Texas team taking a next step this year?
Absolutely. I just think that once you have your philosophy and culture established, you're going to recruit the kids who fit the bill. I think they're, like we were talking about, they're a hungry team and they proved it on the road. I mean, I don't know how many other teams could have gone in there to Stanford and do what they did. I don't know what other team could do that, Gabe. Like, I'm going to go ahead and say they're ready to take that jump because of that confidence that's going to be grown from that. That's going to bud from that.
Yeah. And they're pretty young and new, and I'm sure they will struggle at some point in the season. When freshmen are great because they come in with a ton of energy and they don't know any better. And they will just do like Rori Harmon in Stanford. She doesn't know any better. She doesn't know to be scared. She doesn't know to be scared in that moment. She doesn't know the pressure. Like, she doesn't feel any of that because this is her first game. Throughout the season, those moments will happen, and Texas will have to adjust to it and get better. And they have a great coach to do it with, in Vic Schaefer. But look, the Big 12 is wide open. Baylor, obviously they have a ton of talent this year. They haven't looked that great. They've been not struggling, but not putting away inferior opponents in the way you'd expect. So they're also in Baylor dealing with a new coach, a new system, a bunch of new players, and losing a ton. So the Big 12's open. And I think Texas has a real chance of making a run that Big 12. We'll see what happens. It's early.
Yeah.
Stanford, though, do you have any long-term concerns for Stanford? I mean, Haley Jones put up a triple-double last night. So it's like they responded well. They know what they're about. I'm a little concerned about the point guard position, but are you concerned at all about their long-term health this year?
No, and I think, that was a wake-up call, and it's better to have it happen early than late. That's what I always like to say. If it's going to happen, don't let it happen in the postseason or something like that. Like, hey, get it out of the way, learn from it, and plow forward. And I think that's what Stanford is going to do. I mean, they're not going to miss, 23 threes,
well, you hope not.
All season. Tara Vanderveer, been there, done that, won it again. I mean, with almost like a 30-year gap in between titles. I mean, she obviously understands what it takes. I'm not overly concerned about, the advancement through the season that Stanford's going to take.
Yeah, I'm not that concerned. I think they'll be at top of the Pac-12 again. I would, if I had to bet on someone winning the Pac-12, I'd say Stanford still. I do want to see a little bit more from Anna Wilson, just as a point guard and play creator. They lost Kiana Williams. Like, they need her to be that player. And she showed ability to do it. And I think it's just getting used to that role. When you come into each season, your role changes. Even so slightly, even if you have the same group of people, your role is going to change just a little bit each year. And it takes some time to get used to. That's why if I'm a coach of a program, I don't play these games because I need to install new systems. I have to get people used to their roles. I have to get people going and used to, and it's a great test early on. And, you can recover from these early losses. But just for me personally, I think it's tough to adjust to your role in a game like this. And I think that's what happened to Anna Wilson. I think she'll be fine. I think Haley Jones is going to be great all year. And give me Ashton Prechtel. She's a big time player. She makes some big time plays.
Obviously now Vic Schaefer is happy that they went to Stanford to play because they got
He looks like
win.
a genius.
Hey, that's what we wanted to do. But I think for Stanford and Tara Vanderveer, I just think that, I think it's going to fuel them. And I think maybe they're even more dangerous because of that loss than they would have been moving forward had they won. So, I mean, that's just who Tara Vanderveer is. And I know that's how she is painting that picture for the team in that way. Like, okay, we know that can't be who we are as a team. Night in and night out, we're going to get, kicked in the back of the neck more times than we're not. So let's get it together. So I think it's a rallying cry for them more so than it is a major concern.
We could talk for hours and hours on end about this season of basketball, and we will. herhoopstats.com. Get all the stats there. On Twitter at herhoopstats, on Instagram at herhoopstats, and follow that because I make a ton of videos on there. And our YouTube page, herhoopstats on YouTube.
And I can't wait to continue to chop it up right here on Courtside with Christy and Gabe on the Her Hoop Stats Podcast Network. We will see you all right here next time.